is up, everybody? Sorry, I don't know when my mic cut off there. I was just sitting here talking to myself for the longest time, I assume. But yeah, so anyways, good to see everybody. Hopefully you guys are having a great space. I see Maze is joining us, the legendary Miss Maze. Make sure you guys swing over here and give this woman a follow. She's also one of my best friends. And speaking of best friends, you know, Don Jr. and Charlie Kirk were allegedly best friends. And it's interesting to see because I could tell, you know, it's like I'm no body language expert, but I put out a video on Don Jr. specifically when him and Megyn Kelly did that interview. That interview was like 3 or 4 days ago when I ended up putting that video out about it. And I was just like, you hear Don, he's just like, well, and like, and he tried to give like the whole, like, I'm a politician talking points and like kind of steer away from the question. And then Megyn Kelly had to bring him back in and was like, well, hey, you didn't answer the question. Like, do you think the FBI is going to actually get to the bottom of this? And he's like, well, yeah, I do. And then he goes in like back into political mode. And it's just like, dude, it's so sad to see. And then come to find out that Candice went in depth and in detail today about it. Actually, you know what? If I do, actually, you know what? No, I don't have it. I was going to say I got to play it on my phone, but I got my other phone all set up here. So, but yeah, guys, so it's just crazy to hear that. I was going to play it for you guys, but I don't have the ability to do it in my car right now. But so yeah, Don Jr. and Charlie Kirk were boys, right? Like they were really best friends. Like Don Jr. was one of the people that spoke a majority of the time at all of the turning, like from the early days on at the founding of Turning Point USA. Like Don Jr. was right there with Candice Owens, like right by their side in the come up. And to think about how close Don and Charlie were, and that's why Charlie Kirk loved President Trump, like almost like a father, really. Like he absolutely idolized that man. And it was probably because he was best friends with his son, you know, and you see that type of relationship and that type of bond that you build with somebody. And then like, I don't know in what reality, in what universe that Don Jr., maybe it's the president's son. I don't fucking know. But like,
I have the clip ready if you want me to play it.
Yeah, Maze, please play this. Let's hear that. It's so fucking good. Go ahead, Maze.
He thought about the investigation into Charlie's assassination. I was expecting him to say, I think it's crap. But that is not what he said. In fact, he did his best not to answer the question, as you'll see. And then Megyn Kelly holds him to it, and then you'll hear what he says. Take a listen.
How do you feel about the investigation into Charlie's death? Can we have faith in it? Do you feel like it's being well handled?
So far, so far so good. I think, you know, I've had this conversation with a lot of the guys that have been, you know, very involved from the beginning, and you know, others that are a big part of that movement that are, you know, are going to take, you know, more of a role. You know, guys like JD, like, hey, he believes we have to keep this going. People, you know, myself, hey, I did a lot of them, but I got to do even more. We got to keep this going. There's never going to be a replacement for Charlie Kirk. You can't plug that in. But if we can find 10 people that can do 10% of what he did, and they go all in and do that, we can keep that alive. And honestly, we all owe that to him.
Just to round back, do you have confidence in the investigation? Should we have confidence in this FBI investigating?
I do. You know, and I mean, I don't know. I don't like it when the people have the private, you know. But I've spoken to everyone, you know, around, and you know, Erica. I do have confidence. And, you know, when I start seeing some of the other stuff, it's like, man. And by the way, just so we're clear, as you all probably know, if you're here, you probably follow me a little bit. Like, I'm about as conspiratorial as it gets within the realm of sanity for good cause, right? I think I was the guy that first said, like, the difference between a conspiracy theory and the truth is usually about 6 months. You know, I was the guy canceled for pushing all of the obvious things that were conspiracy theories that, you know, Wuhan or whatever it may, you know, lab virus leak. You know, the problem is that there is a cottage industry of just clicks and people that are more than happy to, you know, to profiteer, you know, off of that. Again, I'm not saying that a lot of this stuff isn't real and isn't true, and I've been pushing all of that, but some of the stuff does get a little bit off the rails, and I think, you know, you're really, it's been used even by the other side as a way to distract from the bigger picture of what happened to him, of what the other side has proven that they are actually willing to do.
You know what? I just noticed for the first time, because the last time I heard it, I didn't think of it. He literally went into how they're going to replace him. That was the first thing that Dawn's mind went to when she asked the question about whether or not we should trust the investigation.
You know, Maze, you're right, and it's so bizarre. And I see Gary Cardone. Gary, grab a mic, brother. Come up in here, and I want to hear from you really quick. I know you probably are a busy man, so we'll give you the mic right away and let you come on in here and say your piece, man. But you know, Gary Cardone. What's crazy about Gary is last week he put out a video. He put out a tweet about it was like counting the amount of countries that the Jews had been kicked out of, and I made a video on that. Just on the so Gary like quote tweeted a video, right? The video wasn't hit with any censorship. I made a video talking about Gary, how proud I was of Gary because you know Gary's a very successful man. He's probably got a lot of businesses, hats, probably in a lot of fires. And for a man like of his stature to speak out, and he's literally the only one. And I called out all the celebrities. I'm like, where are all these fucking celebrities? Where are all these millionaires at? Where are all these actors at? Where is everybody that, you know, we the American people were like, yeah, dude, you guys are idols. We look up to you guys. You know, we want to be you guys one day. And then here now comes the time to speak up, and none of them are fucking speaking up. And I saw Gary out there speaking up, and he's been one of the only people to do it. So I want to give a big shout out to Gary Cardone, brother. My huge fan of yours and a friend, brother.
Brian, thank you. I didn't mean to be special on this, but I think that it's the right thing to do, man. We can't keep killing people in public. And look, I didn't kill any. Someone killed this man, and it's not cool. It's not cool that leaders are not standing up going, this is bullshit. It's ridiculous. This is not a third world country unless it is. And if it is, then maybe we should start behaving like it. So, look, I don't know about all the business stuff. I just know that I didn't do all of this to be a prostitute and lie to everyone. Like there was seems to be a nice man. I don't know the guy. I've never met him. He seems to be a legitimate, fair human being. And I don't know why someone would find it so threatening that they needed to kill him unless they're trying to send a signal. Someone's trying to send a signal to stop being authentic and stop telling the truth. And I think if we stop telling the truth, I don't know why we wake up every morning. Like, why the fuck would we want to wake up every morning if we're going to lie? So we've told each other a lot of lies a long time. Every argument we have between each other, in my opinion, is based on absolute zero data. Zero. I'm probably one of the oldest guys here. And I'm telling you, I had to wake up and realize everything I think I know about the whirlwind is not accurate. That means it is a fiction. It's fiction, man. And it's not cool. Like the next 67-year-old kids are not going to blame me for, oh, wow, Gary bought into the lie and he sold the story too. This is ridiculous, okay? My parents did not know what we know today. And that's just probably all you got to say, right? Like, the right thing to do is the right thing. And we're getting more information in a manner. This planet's been able to get this much information available to 8 billion people. And that's a big, big deal. And so as long as the platform is available, I'm going to speak what I think is my truth. And if someone sticks me in prison for it, I try not to say things I don't understand. And I've deleted 3 tweets my entire life, and one of them was a mistake. So say things, and I assume that I cannot untweet them. I cannot remove them from the fabric of the universe. They're there. Like, this is my truth. And like I'm not gonna die here and have my kids go, oh wow, my kids don't know what they were believing. But I would hate for them to read that I was not speaking the truth. That would be so shameful. So anyway, Ryan, love what you're doing, dude. You're doing stuff that I can't do.
That dude sounds
and
like
everybody here, okay? Like, I would just beg
or drunk.
one. We're in a landscape that we've never been in before, I wouldn't say tread carefully, but be careful about any mistakes you might make, because our credibility is going to be questioned aggressively. Like, that's a light phrase, okay? I have an extremely clean closet. That is why I can do this. I owe no one anything. I've not fucking ever taken a pay from anyone. I have no advertisers, no promoters, and I never will. And I didn't do all this so that I then became a lie. Okay? You're either a lie or you're the truth. And I'm going to just say this. You're my fucking enemy or you're on my side. And it's either truth or lies. One or the other. It cannot be both. Okay? And it's described and best defined by transparency. Where there is no transparency, there is a lie. Full stop. Never going to change. Immutable. Lack of transparency equals lies. Thank you, Ryan.
No, thank you, Gary, man. And I couldn't, it's an honor. I watch your show sometimes, man, and I hear you're telling the story about, how your daughter was supposed to meet you to come fishing, and she didn't show up, and then she did show up, right? And it's those memories that you make with your children, right? And I know you're the type of father, man, that your kids are going to look up to, because some of these Hollywood celebrities, man, I don't know how their children will ever look up to the person that they are. They have to live in such a small little bubble, because if they ever step out of it, they're going to see exactly the type of person that their parent was. And you're one of the very, very true dudes. You're like the real G out here. You have a lot to lose, and you're still speaking the truth with both middle fingers. I remember the first time I interviewed Gary. It was so funny because I tell everybody the story. So Gary's also a fellow Bitcoiner. We're both Bitcoin maximalists, I believe. Gary's a Bitcoin maximalist, I think, now. And, I asked him, I said, hey, what do you think about...
I'm a beast.
This was still when Biden...
I'm a Bitcoin beast,
yeah,
baby.
Savage.
Bitcoin beast, baby.
Savage. So Gary goes, so this was when Biden was still in office, and I'm interviewing Gary, his first interview. I go, Gary, what do you think about what Elizabeth Warren and, so-and-so are thinking about Bitcoin? He goes, you know what I think about Elizabeth Warren? And he pulls out both of his middle fingers. He goes, fuck Elizabeth Warren. And he goes, you want to know what I love about Bitcoin? He goes, it's a fucking global asset, And I think it was in 2009, 99% of the Bitcoin adoption was here in America. Today, it's like 12% of Bitcoin adoption is here in America. He's like, so, basically, it doesn't matter what fucking Elizabeth Warren does or anybody in the White House. It really doesn't fucking matter. Bitcoin's going to fucking $1 million no matter what the fuck they do about it, And I remember that story like it was yesterday, man. And it was one of my favorite interviews to this day that I've done. So thanks for coming on the show, man. Thanks for always holding it down, man. We greatly appreciate you.
Love you, bro. Thank you.
So, yeah, let's get back to this Don Jr. shit, right? So, what type of dude does that? Like, you talk about, like, you're a friend to somebody, right? I remember when Maze was getting attacked one day. And, like, me and Maze ain't, like, ride or die homies, we are now. But, like, then we weren't, right? And I just remember, like, oh, shit, they talking shit about Maze? I got this girl's back, right? Like, you got a friend and you're going to hold it down for your friend. You're either going to hold it down or you're just a bitch, right? And Don Jr. is a straight up bitch, right? How do you, as a man, how do you go home and sleep at night? How do you look your children in the eye? Like, that was your fucking boy. Charlie Kirk was your fucking boy. And you can't even at the very least go, you know what? I haven't seen enough either way. I'm just going to have to sit this one out, anything of the sort. But to fucking try to just carry the fucking weight and the fucking slop, right? I've talked to a guy that's talked to, I don't want to be that guy that says I talked to a guy, but I talked to a guy, and Erica and the FBI, and I know things that you guys obviously aren't privy to, you dirty tax-paying peasants. So trust me, bro, the FBI is going to get to the fucking bottom of this. And then you find out today, literally 24 hours before, 48 hours after that interview, you have fucking the FBI director going to war, basically, with our national intelligence, our intelligence agency, who's trying to basically figure out, was there foreign intelligence involved? And Kash Patel went so off the fucking rails that he had to call a White House meeting with Susie fucking Wiles, who I hear is jumping down his fucking shit right now. I hear that allegedly that Kash is in a fucking sinking ship right now. That, when the story broke that he was jet setting around with his fucking girlfriend on a private fucking jet. What's that?
I bet he is, Ron. I bet he is.
Oh yeah, I heard that he got a fucking phone call from Susie Wiles fucking screaming at him because she was like, "Bro, what the fuck are you what the fuck are you doing? Like out and about on a government shutdown with your private jet swinging down to fucking Nashville to see her. Do you know how bad that is? I guess they saw my video. And so that's what triggered that phone call with Susie Wiles. And then I put out another one. That was the first one I put out. Only got like 300K. I put out another one yesterday that's up to like 650,000 now, and it's a cooking. And I mean, people are waking up. And Christy fucking Nome goes out and buys 2 brand new G7 Gulfstream jets. What do those run, Gary? 200? Are those $100 million fucking jets? Like,
I think you can pick one up 85, 90. Yeah, 100 Bitcoin, 1,000 Bitcoin.
jeez, fuck, dude. And it's like, we're over here.
The operating expense is only $600 grand a month, but who cares? And about $12,000 an hour for fuel. One of the most inefficient planes actually now. A 550 would be much more efficient, but they're just fucking. Dude, this is hilarious. Okay, it's. Y'all need to keep up. We are doing an awesome job, guys. Okay, Don Jr. Not cool, dude. Really, your best friend, Mikey Mike. I mean, dude, this case is so full of bullshit. It's ridiculous. Anyone that doesn't drop this case, anyone that drops this case is a pussy. It's the easiest case in history to show that the U.S. government is right up to its eyeballs in fucking treason. I mean, really, dude. Like, you guys, like, we're not even arguing with you. This case is horrendous. And, like, I'd get if I was a politician here, I'd be like, dude, I got to get out the way. I got to share the truth of what happened. They destroy themselves, dude. This is not going away.
I can't help it.
That could have been your fucking son or your cousin, dude. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it could have been any of us. And by the way, it could be. I think that was the message, Ryan. And that's why I like you so much. I forgot we did it, but I really admire you guys that are poking your head up, dude. Because let me tell you, one of you is going to get fucking whacked. Do believe that. They're not going to stop. These people are fucking crazy, man. And they cannot kill us all. And that's doing this, Ryan. And I think more people will come here, dude. They will.
Well, I'm glad you said that, Gary, because wait till you see my next documentary that's dropping on CPS, and you're going to see a side of your government. You know, if you've seen my child trafficking films on HHS and how DHS and HHS turned America into the child kidnapping and child trafficking capital of the world. Yeah. And the entire time I was doing that investigation, I just couldn't figure out, like, I was like, I seen this thing. I was the first one to break the story on the 20,000 migrants or the missing children. Then the 85,000 missing children. Then it was 300,000. Then it was 325,000. Then it was the day that on December 14th, I remember like yesterday, Tom Holman went on Fox News and did an interview and said it was 350,000 migrant children had vanished that our government took custody of, right? And I just, the whole way, the deeper I got down, I'm just like, how the fuck? The one thing I couldn't figure out is how did this all come together seamlessly, and they turned America into the child kidnapping and trafficking capital of the world like that fast. It was like a well-oiled fucking machine firing on all cylinders. You can't just, guys, like Laura Silsby went down to it was the Dominican Republic, went to Haiti and attempted to kidnap like 32 kids twice, and she got busted with the full backing of the Clintons. Okay, you know how hard it is to migrate and move and traffic children out of a country? Our government trafficked in 452,121 migrant children ages 0 to 17 arrived at our border without parents from 2021 to October of 2024 over roughly a 4-year period. And they took physical possession of them, vetted the adult, and then delivered them into America, which is the number one consumer of child porn, the number one consumer of all hard narcotics, the number one consumer of child rape, and the number one consumer of child ritual sacrifice in the entire fucking world. America is the last country you'd want to be lost in. And our government vetted the adult that took the child, vetted the child, handed them to the adult, hand-delivered them, trafficked them across state lines and delivered them to said adult. And then 30 days later could not locate the adult or the child. Okay, so there's 350,000 missing migrant children scattered all into a country that is in like literally the pedophile capital of the world. It's the number one consumer of child porn. and you just banished 350,000 kids. They've already found like 20 of them have already been found dead. Okay, so it's not like we're just over here speculating. When I tell you guys that these children have an expiration date, right? So they call it the child trafficking pipeline, right? You guys have probably seen the movie, like I think it's like 24 Taken or whatever, where his daughter gets taken and he sets a stopwatch for like 36 hours. And he's basically like, if I don't get my daughter back in 36 hours, she's gone. Because once she hits that pipeline, there's less than a 1% chance that she'll ever be seen alive again. Meaning, once they start getting delivered to buyers in America, there's less than a 1% chance they'll ever be seen alive again because their poor, fragile little bodies can't sustain the abuse for that extended period of time, and their life expectancy goes from from 72 years or whatever it is, whatever country they came from, to 24 to 36 months, almost instantly. The second that child is starting to get delivered and pimped out, her life expectancy or his life expectancy goes down to 24 to 36 months. So you go back to by March of 2021, the Biden administration openly admitted to losing 20,000 children. All 20,000 of those, we can assume, according to FBI statistics, they were trafficked, they were sold, they're missing. We haven't seen them in 3 years. Probably 90% of those children are dead, right? And every day that we wait, because throughout the entire process, our government was delivering 241 migrant children every single day on average. The very last week of the Biden administration was 179. So somewhere between 179 and 242 children were getting delivered into this network of pedophiles that we could not locate or find. And the Trump administration has only found roughly like 20 or 30,000 of these kids. So to put that in perspective, with just the fucking tools that our FBI had to hunt down January 6ers, I would have brought home probably 75% of those children by now. 8 months into this operation, it would have been all fucking hands on deck, and I would have been so fucking loud and aggressive about it that I would have literally had these people that just thought they were going to get away with a child literally coming in to turn them in before I hunted them fucking down. Because they would be going to fucking life in prison if I caught them, right? Because a lot of these adults applied to get these children and claimed to be a brother, an uncle, or whatever, and they weren't DNA testing them. So if they weren't DNA testing, you couldn't prove it. So, it would have been very simple. Like, hey, you got a kid, you guys want to stay here? Hell, if you're even one of the good ones, we'll even offer you some type of expedited citizenship deal where you can fucking stay, but you're going to get 1 week to come in and fucking do a DNA test and prove that that's your child. And if you don't, and we hunt you down and find you, you're going to prison for fucking life for trafficking a child. That's it, right? And you just go relentless about it. Then you get a state to pass a fucking execution law for fucking child trafficking, and then you hang one of these fuckers publicly. And watch how that this system would change, right? You would have every trafficked child in America. Kash Patel is arrested, like they've caught and saved like 10,000 children. So CPS is where I'm going with this. My CPS film that's coming out next in November, on November 24th, I have to fucking leave the country. Like, that's how fucking crazy the country we live in, right? Like, I'm leaving the country for multiple weeks for my own fucking safety so I can actually promote this documentary, like doing a real promotion for it and not worried about getting fucking whacked by my own government. So CPS is kidnapping from American parents, 480,000 fucking children a year, Gary. 480,000 children per year are getting taken by our fucking government. And then this is the own CPS. You can never find this shit on the internet, but I got the actual printouts of it, right? 83.3% of the time, CPS is in the fucking wrong. Okay? That means that out of that 480,000, roughly 240,000, and then 54% of that, 54% of the time, they never come home. So out of that, you're looking at a number around 200,000 children that CPS takes that were in the wrong, that never should have been taken from an American parent. And then they sell them and they adopt them out to a fucking gay family. There's an 800% higher probability that your child will get adopted out to a gay family if it came through the foster care system. And then when we talk about rescuing these sex trafficked children, if Cash went in and kicked in a door today and saved a sex trafficked child, there's a 50 to a 90% chance that it came from our fucking welfare system. So it's not like we're taking kids from parents and then fucking saving them. We're taking them, we're most likely putting them in abusive situations, which is somehow creating like a perfect child trafficking pipeline, and these kids become child prostitutes before they even hit the age of 18. And then once they turn 18, they're doing OnlyFans, they're doing whatever, they're working in strip clubs, they're working in massage parlors. I mean, they're getting tricked out and turned out because that's all they fucking know.
Like Sam Parker's mom. Anyway, you're a Latter-day Saint. You're a Mormon. You're running cover for...
What?
I'm sorry. No, Nikki, I'm sorry. Nikki also was laughing up when Ryan was talking about children being trafficked. I don't know who you think you are, but that's just absolutely abhorrent and immoral. Disgusting.
Yeah, it's such a clown show with these people. You know, we're like, so 80% or so your government takes from American children, 200,000 fucking children per year are kidnapped by CPS from parents who fucking love them, and they're put into this system which just turns them into child fucking prostitutes. And we're over here acting like our government's the fucking good guy and they're going to get to the bottom of this Charlie Kirk assassination. I'm telling you guys, like, America, it's fucking cooked. Like, we need all hands on deck to wake the fuck up really quick. Our government's trafficking children. We have American citizens who are getting fucking assassinated. Like, every single day, like, we speak out. I'm just like, okay, is today going to be the day that my fucking door gets kicked in by the FBI? Are they going to plant child porn like on my computer? Are they going to fucking set me up for this? Are they going to arrest me for whatever? Like, it's like, that's the fucking world we live in. Like, we no longer have the ability to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness in America. It's all been a fucking facade. It's all been fake and gay. Our elections are rigged. And if they're not rigged and you actually somehow manage to get a good guy in there, most likely that person's got some skeletons in the fucking closet. And the more skeletons in the closet, the easier it is for the intelligence agencies to fucking come and own you. And then, like, you think about, like, Matt Gaetz, right? Like, I don't think Trump ever was going to let Matt Gaetz be attorney general. I think it was the most brilliant play to get one of the most anti-Israel people out of fucking Congress. Susie Wiles set that shit up hook, line, and fucking sinker. And they got Matt Gaetz to resign because he had, in order to take the attorney general job, he had to do some type of like resignation and then automatically got confirmed as the attorney general and some other bullshit. And within 48 hours later, they broke a story that you know they fucking had. Like, that Matt Gaetz story wasn't new news. It wasn't like some new chicks that he was hanging out last week. They had that. And they specifically sat on it until exactly when they needed to release it. And then boom, all of a sudden it comes out that Matt Gaetz was taking ecstasy and fucking some chicks. Like, fucking every college kid in his fucking 20s, dude. Like, who the fuck cares? Like, that guy should have been fucking AG. And instead he stepped down. Like, I don't know why he stepped down. I think he should have fucking stayed and basically fucking wrote it out and tried to make them confirm him. But that's just kind of my 2 cents. I've been talking a lot. I know Sam Parker's got a lot of shit he wants to break down. Sam Parker, how you doing, brother?
Hey man, doing all right. Doing all right. No, I'm just listening. I'm listening to you cook. I'm listening to everybody cook. Unfortunately, super unfortunately, have not yet been able to watch Candice's episode today. So I cannot weigh in on anything she brought to the table today. I'm going to have to watch it later, obviously. But that really, I feel like at a tremendous disadvantage now, like being behind the entire audience here on this. I have no idea, like, the latest breaking news that she's broken today on that. So I'm glad you played some of that. But I'm just kind of listening. I would like to hear maybe a quick rundown of the major. Maybe I'm not the only one in the audience who hasn't had a chance to listen to Candice yet today. Can somebody perhaps spend a minute or two breaking down the major findings and drops from Candice today? Is that perhaps too much?
Well, I mean, I watched it. I think Ryan hit on the main things, which was the Cash Patel piece and definitely the Don Jr. piece. I think were huge.
Hey, Maze. Oh, yeah. Sorry. The Wikipedia was pretty interesting. Yeah.
Go ahead, Blake. Break it down for us.
Man, I mean, just basically somebody went in. She doesn't know who, but there is definitely an angle with this Rob McCoy just dilemma thing. I mean, it's bizarre. So essentially someone went in September the 10th after Charlie had died and began to edit Wikipedia pages on Turning Point USA's page. And it has to do with this Turning Point faith. And it essentially, I think there was an edit that went down on the 10th. And then there was an edit that went down, she said, within 36 hours. And it essentially was putting Rob McCoy as the co-founder of this faith division within Turning Point. And knowing what we know now, it's just very interesting. And I'm using that very facetiously because there is definitely some things happening within the McCoy family. And I mean, who knows who did this? But it's just bizarre why someone would want to. I mean, I don't understand why that would even be on anyone's mind within 36 hours that we're going to go in and start changing things within or within the Wikipedia page of Turning Point and start steering things in a different direction. But nonetheless, this was on someone's mind to begin to change, just to start rewriting, I guess, their own history, so to speak. But it was important to Charlie because he did hire people. There was an active campaign that it was important to him that data information be correct on Wikipedia. And so, yeah, I found that to be very intriguing. That had not even dawned on me to look at things like that. So yeah, Candice hit a big one.
And you also, I think you said this, but just to highlight it, is that it's a lie. It's a complete lie. Like she remembers that, when it had happened and that he was 100%, Charlie Kirk was 100% like the one that founded it and nobody else. So for them to just go and add him in as the founder, there's something behind it. I'm pretty sure, it'll reveal itself at some point, but
yeah.
Well, that's very
absolutely
interesting because, ever since this happened, I've read from other people and had many people tell me, well, did you know Rob McCoy was the co-founder of TP USA Faith? And I hadn't questioned it, but it now sounds like maybe the main source for that's Wikipedia, and odd that was thrown up within a day or two of the assassination, or same day or whatever, from what you're telling me. That is interesting. If that's not quite true. And of course, anybody can edit Wikipedia, I suppose. I'm going to definitely have to go back and watch that. But yeah, the Kash Patel private jet thing. I mean, wasn't he in New York, like when Charlie was assassinated, at some ritzy restaurant, living the high life or something? And, somebody can correct me, Ryan, maybe you know better, but like, I think that there's already this rumor out there that he's kind of living a little large on The Office, little large. That's kind of the rumor that was already going around. And then we find out about this private jet escapade to Nashville. And we've been talking about Alexis Wilkins, a lot of people, for a long time now. But what's interesting, especially in light of what Candice was saying yesterday about just this military involvement, military circling. And, Alexis Wilkins is a very interesting case because she worked for Marissa Strait, right, at TP USA, works for Marissa Strait at TP USA, which Candice talked about yesterday. Marissa Strait is, quote unquote, former Unit 8200 in the IDF. Now, Unit 8200, for those of you who don't know, is and basically analogous to the NSA, the National Security Agency in the United States. That's what Unit 8200 is in the IDF in Israel. Okay, so Marissa Strait, Jew, moved to Israel. Literally, was living in Israel, became Israeli, and served in the IDF. Took a sworn oath of allegiance to protect Israel for life. And was basically a spy in the IDF in Unit 8200. And she's now who's running PragerU, which I call Prager Unit 8200. That's what I affectionately call it. That's who Alexis Wilkins works for, is Marissa Strait at PragerU. Well, that's not the only connection Alexis Wilkins has, because she also is the press secretary for a congressman by the name of Abraham Hamada from Arizona, who himself is a captain in U.S. Army intelligence. Okay, so that's a second job she has. She is the press secretary for a former captain in U.S. Army intelligence. And and now she's also dating Kash Patel, the director of the FBI, who she met when she was 24 years old and he was 42 years old at a General Flynn event. So there's another connection, a General Flynn Restore America event. I believe it was called Restore America. A General Flynn event, she meets him, and just 2 or 3 weeks after meeting Kash Patel at this event, is dating him. She portrays herself as a very devout Christian, but here she is dating a man nearly 20 years her senior who is not Christian at all. who's now the head of the FBI. So he's a very important member of the U.S. Law enforcement and intelligence community. She's the press secretary for another member of the U.S. Army intelligence community. She works for Marissa's great IDF intelligence community. And like, I kind of have to ask the question, who the heck is Alexis Wilkins? And why is Kash Patel using private jets to fly around to meet her? So, something to look into. You can search my timeline. I've done threads on her. Other people have done things on her. You know, and it turns out, Ryan, and you and I have talked about this, that Alexis Wilkins is not just some random country bumpkin. She actually grew up in Southern California and was somewhat of a minor child star. She was in, attending red carpet Hollywood events. She was in movies, television shows, connected in Hollywood when she was a younger teenager. And so that is something that we haven't really talked about on the timeline yet, but maybe we should at some point. But, who is Alexis Wilkins? Who is this person? With all these military and military intelligence connections, it does seem kind of fantastical. And here she is. She's got this, country music career. Country music career as well, and very, very well connected. I mean, how many people at 24 are dating the director of the FBI, 20 years older than them, serving as press secretary for a congressman in another state, by the way, who's former U.S. Army intelligence, and also doing social media campaigns and work for an operation that's being run by a member of Unit 8200 out of the IDF. Who is this person? How did she achieve all of this? It's very interesting, very odd, and I think it's kind of suspicious. Now, I'm not, some people have claimed that she's Jewish, that she herself is Mossad or something. There's no evidence for that I'm aware of, that she's Jewish or that she herself has worked for the Mossad. But she's definitely connected. She's definitely connected up to her eyeballs with very interesting people with questionable backgrounds. So
let me jump in on that, Sam. Well, we got Gary Cardone in here. Gary, what is it like at some of these elite? I mean, I don't know if you're married, if you ever go out to any of these social gatherings. Are there just like pretty beautiful women walking around all the time trying to chat up rich men like that, or do they bring them in by the busload, or like how do these events work with the upper echelons of society? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Dude, I can't even get any of you guys to introduce me to some legit women. So I think that what they do is they go to Washington, they troll through all these super parties. I mean, likes attract. I mean, I don't like it. Personally, I've been to these things and it's like, okay. But, I mean,
what are they like on the inside? What are they like inside these things?
But, well, what are they like? I mean, everybody's trying to get, everybody wants to, I don't think you can just, look, I spent 4 days in Washington during the inauguration, and that was enough for me. It was very clear to me that in order to be, I walked away after 4 days and going, wow, I can make $2 billion in 2 years. $2 billion in 2 years if I were to move to Washington. The problem is I can't look that you're dealing with a system that is so toxic that in order to play in the fucking toilet, you're going to get some shit on you. Okay, it's just not possible. So the system is toxic. It's not even about the individual. To covertly support anyone. This is why I have to be vocal, because I think not saying anything is a moral hazard. It is worse. It's as bad as doing a bad thing once you know it. And now we know it. So I just can't, I'm very sensitive. I can't do it. Like I would not sleep at night. So, dude, I think if you're in the fucking dance, you're in the dance, If you go to a fucking whorehouse, sooner or later, you're going to fucking get laid. I mean, I just don't think you can hang around the toilet bowl and claim that you're all fucking pure. So it's just we need to start over. We need a revolution. a new constitution, a fucking startup. You cannot fix this by band-aiding it. It's not fixable like that. That's why we got to keep being really vocal and logically vocal, because you know that's true, okay? You can't fix this. It's too systemically cancerous. It's fucking broken, man. It's the bureaucrats too, by the way, okay? These people are like nobody's just going to give up their whole career and their family and their jobs. They've been doing this for, like, many of these are family businesses now, right? I'm from Virginia. Yeah, you and your family. Like, yeah, gosh, half of them are in the CIA. No shit, Sherlock. I mean, everybody I meet now is from Virginia. So we just got to keep saying no. And transparency is the answer. I keep, like no politician can hide, and no media company and no scientist can hide behind, excuse me, we do not think there's adequate transparency, please. Put some light on this, and then force them to lie to us.
No, that's very well said, Gary. You know, I think that every day I wake up to, like, I mean, I can't even tell you at the rate, but my accounts are on fire right now. You know, I gained 40,000 followers over on Facebook in the last 30 days. I basically pretty much 15,000 on Instagram in the last 2 weeks. Over on X, we've gained about 100,000 in the last 60 days. A little bit more, actually, give or take 107,000 or something like that now. And it's like the message, and that's why I say telling everybody, like, if my message, Ryan Matta, like, I'm not the Nick Fuentes, I'm not like the articulate, talented, really well-versed, really well-educated on this topic. And if I can fucking see this shit, and then everybody should be seeing it, right? Like, you can't hide from this anymore. There's no putting your head in the sand. And I think that you're right, because it's from a technology standpoint. It's the fact that we have the ability at 8 billion people are all connected in the split second. When news breaks, it spreads across the entire world in literally a matter of minutes across 8 billion devices worldwide. That's a fucking, the entire game has changed. Like, when Charlie Kirk got assassinated, you didn't have to wait till the 5 o'clock news to see it. Like, you were seeing the blood gushing out of his neck pretty much before his body even hit the fucking floor. Like, that's how in real time we are all connected now.
Ryan, who was the guy that we were told in history class? You know, remember the guy they told the story about that was on the horse and he was delivering the message?
Yeah, Paul Revere, brother.
There you go. Dude, yeah, like who says Paul Revere isn't a cool cat, right? That's what you guys are doing. You're Paul Revering this thing.
Dude, it's so funny you say that, Gary, because when me and JJ were making our documentary, What is Treason? #invaded, when we were going across the country, I told JJ, like, I feel like we're Paul Revere, right? Instead of saying the British are coming, it's me and you going, the fucking migrants are coming. Because they fucking were, dude. They opened the fucking floodgates of hell and let every country in the world dump their prisons. And they talk about Iran being the bad guy, Afghanistan being the bad guy, China being the bad guy. Motherfuckers, you guys opened our fucking borders, right? And who has the power to do that? Who controls our fucking government? It's Israel. It's always fucking Israel. It's Israel and the Jews. So they have the ability to control our government. They open the floodgates from fucking hell, and they unleash a wave of weaponized mass migration that was bringing this country to its knees. Then, using their power and their intelligence agencies and all the three-letter agencies that they own, they're putting them up in 5-star hotels. They're putting them up in the New York City at the Standard Club. We went to that and got kicked out of there and got the cops called on us. That Standard Club, it's like $500 a night. It's a 5-star hotel. The food wasn't good enough there, which they're paying. They have a pool. They have open bar, 3 square meals a day. That food wasn't good enough for the migrants. So the city of Chicago signs a $50 million contract with a gourmet sub sandwich company to deliver 3 gourmet sandwich meals a day to the illegal immigrants who are living on our tax dime. They're living rent-free in Chicago. They're living in the Standard Club, which is a 5-star hotel. They got an open bar, which they can come and drink from at any time they want. Like, our government's literally stocking the booze in this bar for these illegal immigrants. They were giving out so many. So in Chicago, if you don't pay your parking ticket as an American citizen in 21 days, your car then becomes property of the fucking government. Like, if they repo your car, you got 21 days to get it out, or the fucking government owns it. They were taking the repoed cars and giving them or selling them to illegal immigrants. Then the illegal immigrants were getting pulled over because they didn't have fucking license plates, because they couldn't get insurance, and they couldn't get the fucking car registered because they're not a legal American citizen. So Chicago was passing the laws because they have a supermajority, which is completely ran by Democrats. They don't even have to vote and take it to the floor anymore. They just say, yep, we want to pass this. We're going to pass it because they have the supermajority. So they do whatever the fuck they want. They were changing the law so that the cops couldn't arrest the fucking people for not having license plates, because all the fucking people that didn't have license plates were the illegal immigrants that they fucking sold the cars to, your cars to. And that's where we're headed here, guys. Like, it's so beyond treason. Like, treason was what Mayorkas did, you know, right? I thought the Trump administration was going to come in and Kash Patel was going to fucking clean house. And Alejandro Mayorkas is still walking free. Xavier Becerra is still walking free. Robin Dunn Merkos was the director of ORR. She's the one who literally oversaw the trafficking of 350,000 migrant children. And I put enough work in these documentaries. I give you all the receipts. Maze can vouch for it. Everybody that see my films can vouch for it. I brought the receipts. I brought the evidence. I bought the fucking data. I bought the video footage. I went out and droned all the motherfucking facilities. I showed you guys how they were trafficking the children through the fucking airports. We had whistleblowers coming forward that worked in every single government agency that played a role in the entire fucking process. And everyone says, yep, I traffic children. Yep, I traffic children. Yep, I traffic children. But who did you traffic them to? Who was your boss? Who gave that fucking order? Who signed off on allowing the airlines to traffic fucking unaccompanied migrant children? Like, somebody had to sign off on that, right? So how is that person not getting charged when the Tate brothers, they pip out a girl on OnlyFans and fucking pay for a plane ticket to go to fucking Romania and she's fucking of age by choice? Well, they're human traffickers. But yet our government moves fucking 350,000 children across fucking borders on airplanes on our fucking tax dime, and they're not fucking human traffickers? Like, at what point do we get to in our country where we just say fucking enough's enough? And it's going to be men. Sorry, just cut myself off. My man Ian over here, he goes by I Wenster over on X. He's been absolutely blowing up and covering the Charlie Kirk and Candice Owens assassination. And he's been working on some big stuff. So, brother, jump up here on stage and tell us what you're digging into. I'll give you the floor is yours, my friend. I want to hear everything that you're working on.
Yo, what's up? Thanks for having me, dude. I want to just say something really quick because, and maybe I missed this piece, but when you were talking about, how you don't feel like you're super articulate or like, you're just kind of thrown into this thing. I want everybody to really think about something for a minute. It doesn't matter. I mean, especially for you, Ryan. Ryan, you're doing a phenomenal job, man. And you're proof that you don't have to be, super polished or super well articulate or whatever. By the way, I'm not saying you're not, because I think you actually are. But you don't have to be.
I'm gonna cut off fucking half the time just talking shit. So no, you're good, homie. I got it.
But you don't have
5th grade spelling level, 5th grade reading level. I'm cool with it.
No, bro, but you don't have to be. That's the thing. Like, you legitimately, we live in a day and age where I just made this post. I mean, guys, I have been kind of at this for a long ass time, and I've been watching Alex Jones for, I don't know, over 10 years, and just today I was able to go on InfoWars with Harrison, and like it's just proof that the window of opportunity for people who are willing to step up and speak truth and raise awareness and teach people and really try to just lead. It's never been more wide open ever before. And you're proof of that, Ryan. And I want everybody to know that, because this idea that you have to be, polished and you have to be super well articulate and you have to be well researched or whatever in order to be able to step up, it's not true. It actually is the exact opposite. We need everybody and anybody to speak up and to just be willing to lead where you can and use the talents you've been given. We've all been given different talents, different callings, and I truly believe that. And if you don't answer the call when it's given to you, someone else will. But
right.
It's so important that everybody that speaks that can speak up does. So shout out to Ryan, because honestly, bro, you've been doing a great job. And I actually, like I said, I'm not just I'm not just patting you on the shoulder. I think you're actually doing a great job. I don't think any of that's true, but I just wanted to say that for everyone else that's listening in here. Like, it doesn't matter how big of a following you have. It doesn't matter how well articulate you think you are. It doesn't matter how well researched. None of that matters. Just start speaking up and try your best to raise awareness and to lead where you can. That being said,
let me add to that, Ian, because you're right, brother. Because for the last 2 years, you guys probably just now seen my content. If you are, for the last 2 years, I thought you had to be that way, right? So I did a podcast that I was a little bit more off the handle on, but as far as my films and the content I was putting out, like, I was putting out highly edited content. My payroll, like 3 months, well, this is probably about 6 months ago now. was $17,500. That's what I was paying just my editors. I had a girl that was working full time that was doing nothing but just uploading clips, right? And that was me and my adventures all across the world, interviewing all these whistleblowers, all these experts, and kind of trying to bring you guys like an upscale version of like what I thought podcasting was going to be. I was going around the world and traveling and interviewing anybody that would sit down with me and talk about information. But then I realized like it did okay. I gained 100,000 followers over a year period. But when I switched over to just using my phone and just talking, all of a sudden I gained 100,000 in less than 45 days. So it's like you just pull out your phone and talk, and that you don't have to worry about editing it. You don't have to be polished. You don't have to have a professional team of editors. I've done better with just recording my phone and me talking than I ever did traveling and do higher quality and higher scale production. So you're right over the target, Ian. But I'll pass it back to you, man.
Yeah, no, that's very well said. I mean, now more than ever, guys, people are starving for for knowledge. I mean, there is a quote, I forget who says it, and I always use it, but it's such a powerful quote. It's our world is inundated with information and starving for knowledge, and that's why the people who are willing to actually teach, not just throw out meaningless information and just kind of be another talking propaganda head, but the people that are willing to actually dig into these issues and truly, genuinely, authentically try to teach people important things about our world, important things about the system, important things about how they can be better, husbands and wives and fathers and mothers and all these different things. Like, the world is starving for people like that. They're begging for leaders, and every single one of us have the ability to do that. And just like Ryan said, I mean, it's been the same way for me. I didn't even have a studio for probably 12 years. It was all on my phone. It was just, at first it was Snapchat, then it was Instagram. That's my major platform, but now it's X and YouTube, and like, it's a constant evolution. But the most important thing, it doesn't matter what you're doing it from, where you're doing it from. All that matters is that you're willing to do it and that you're doing it authentically. And people will feel that and they'll know it. And then you just need to be consistent about it. Then it's just about being very consistent. And if you can do that, I feel like these last 5 years have created a almost like a vacuum for people that are willing to stand up and speak truth and want to know the truth and ultimately are patriots of the country. I feel like it's created this like vacuum of all of us just kind of found each other over the last 5 years. During COVID, a lot of us found each other, and then that was kind of one big tipping point and a big wake-up call for a lot of people, and then it kind of slowed down a little bit and died off a little bit. And then with this assassination, it's almost like it's another one of those big wake-ups, another one of those big tipping points where now you see more people that are willing to speak truth, and people who want to be patriots and want to stand up for what's right and freedom and everything in this country we just find each other. You know what I mean? I didn't know Ryan until like a few weeks ago, and it just happens that way, because I truly believe that God is preparing his army down here. I really do. I truly believe that, guys. Like, I think we are in a battle of good and evil, and I think that we're headed for a lot worse times. But that is why he is calling people to stand up and gathering everybody together, so that when the time comes, we'll be able to band together and fight it. Ultimately, But I will just, aside from that,
yeah, well said, brother. Jump into this Charlie Kirk stuff now.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, I think you guys, did you talk about the Kash Patel stuff yet? How he is, Go
ahead, dude. Run over everything you got, homie. The mic's yours.
Did we lose Ian?
Yeah, we lost Ian.
Oh boy, Ian.
He must have got a call. He'll be right back.
Yeah, he's got ladies circling him. He does.
Ladies, man.
He does. Yeah.
Fucking random hot places.
I'll just take this moment to draw everybody's attention up to the nest. We got a tweet up there. I put out a video today analyzing the moment of impact, the moment of death of Charlie Kirk. And I want to we don't have to get into the whole thing now, especially if Ian comes back, but take a look at it, everybody. I believe that we can now definitively rule out the exploding lapel microphone theory. I think we can rule it out. I think we have enough video footage from enough different angles to rule that out. I think we can rule out the palm gun now as well. And I think we can also explain what happened to the necklace. I think we can explain all of that and what happened to Charlie to some degree. And it's all up there in my video. So bookmark it, standard thing, bookmark it, reply to it, retweet it, whatever, send it into the algorithm. Then, bookmark it so you can come back to it and watch it if you haven't watched it already. And Ryan, I just also want to give a disclaimer that some people are accusing me of being a gatekeeper, of running cover, this and that. Let me be really clear, folks. This information is now, we're a month and a half in. We're over a month and a half in. Okay, we're past a month and a half. And for several days and weeks even on these various spaces, we have openly entertained any and all theories. Palm gun theory, trapdoor theory, Charlie's still alive theory, exploding microphone theory, drone shooting Charlie theory, all kinds of theories. Several times, many times. We've even brought up people who believe in these theories or who are proponents for these theories several times. Okay, so we're not gatekeeping anything, but this is an investigation. And investigations collect information and they must draw conclusions and progress. And for me personally, I'm not speaking for Ryan or Mays or anybody else. For me personally, I believe we now have enough information to start ruling things out, to narrow the field of possibility, to be able to focus our resources and time in more productive pursuits. And I've been very cautious. I've been very, very methodical about it, Ryan. I haven't been quick to jump the gun, no pun intended, on any of these things. So that's just to address the detractors out there. I'm not trying to gatekeep. I'm not running cover for somebody. I'm trying to find the truth. And I openly and rationally explain my logic. Now, maybe I'm wrong. And if you think I'm wrong, then go explain to me where I'm wrong. But I'm not gatekeeping anybody. We haven't gatekept anybody from these spaces. We've given everybody a platform to speak and tell us their mind. True or not true, right? I mean, tell me.
Oh, 100,000%. Yeah. You're not going to prove to me unless you got some new video evidence or new footage or a new angle. Like, you're not going to show me anything that we haven't seen. And the entire world hasn't seen 1,000 times. I mean, the amount of people out there that are still looking into this, it's absolutely insane. Like, the amount of screenshots that I've seen over the last, I can't even tell you, man. Like, you guys, the craziest shit, people, oh, do you see that shadow over there in the corner of that guy's hat? Like, I saw the reflection in his fucking glasses. That was a Mossad agent or some shit. And I'm like, that was a sniper. You could see it in that guy's reflection of his glasses as he was walking away there. And they send you like a grainy video, and I can't even tell the guy has fucking glasses on. It's like, dude, what the fuck? So yeah, we've entertained every conspiracy theory, every rabbit hole. I've gone down them all. I've made videos on them. I gave attention to them. I said, you guys make your own fucking conclusions. But yeah, the fact that Charlie's not dead, okay, we can go down that rabbit hole, but you better have you got some video footage of him going under a trap door or some shit that we haven't seen, because if you don't, we've all seen what you've seen, and you're the only fucking one who seems crazy enough to actually believe it. And there's probably a little band of misfits with you that believe it, but we ain't fucking gatekeeping you, homie. We gave you the mic. We gave more than an opportunity. I'm trying to get Ian back in here, but
yeah, and we have to move forward. We can't dwell on every theory indefinitely. We have to collect the data. We have to, be selective and, use discrimination. And, it just, like, okay, we thought maybe there might have been a palm gun, but you zoom in, you look at it, and it just doesn't add up. There's the shockwave, the cavitation shockwave it's way too big. It's too big for a palm gun. The guy doesn't stop. Well, I'm not going to go into all the details. You can go search my timeline. I put out several points the other day. I think this video above also that I put out today also goes a long way towards debunking the palm gun for anybody who's still a little on the fence. And I don't blame anybody for being on the fence. It's very confusing. There's 1,000 voices telling you 1,000 different things, and it's hard to cut to the.
Hey Sam, Ian's back.
Okay, let's get him up here. Great.
Tear it up, brother.
Hey, sorry about that, guys. I don't even know what happened. My mic just like freaking cut out, and nobody even called me. But anyway, Sam, that's awesome stuff, dude. Thanks for that. I actually
I cut out in the very beginning, Ian. We only heard you talk for like a second. So.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, buddy.
All right. I don't know what happened. That's all I was saying. But also, Sam, great stuff, man. I gave you a big shout out today, dude. You've been doing an awesome job too. So what I was gonna say was, if you guys haven't heard yet, the counterterrorism chief Joe Kent with Tulsi Gabbard basically decided to look into whether or not there was foreign influence in the assassination. And wouldn't you guess it, Kash Patel freaking went off on him, and apparently they had like a crazy heated argument. And the official article says FBI Director Kash Patel reportedly confronted counterterrorism chief Joe Kent after Kent reviewed FBI files to probe possible foreign ties to Charlie Kirk's assassination. Kent, a top aide to Tulsi Gabbard, believed foreign actors could have aided accused shooter Tyler Robinson. Patel argued Kent was overstepping and risking the FBI's ongoing case. So it's just like, dude, it's just another thing.
It went deeper than that because Susie Wiles, Kash Patel demanded, went and pulled an all-court meeting. He had with J.D. Vance, Susie Wiles, Tulsi Gabbard, Kash Patel, all in the fucking White House over this. He was hell-bent on making sure that only the FBI had eyes on this, which is fucking bizarre, right?
I mean,
how would Tyler Robinson, think about this? You're the National Defense or whatever, the NSA or whatever Tulsi Gabbard is. She's out there doing her investigation, right? How the fuck would Tyler Robinson's defense attorney know if our government is behind the scenes investigating that? You get what I'm saying? Kash Patel's reason was, I don't want them to think that there's a second suspect, so, whatever. What the fuck do you mean? There are intelligence agencies. They're under gag orders. How the fuck is anybody going to know if nobody says a fucking word about it? Let Joe Kent do his thing. It's one man. If he's the only one doing it, let him by himself do the thing that he needs to do and sift it out or not. And if there is foreign intelligence, what the fuck do you mean? You don't want to know about it?
Exactly.
There's no stone unturned.
Exactly.
And who broke this story? Who specifically broke this story? How did we come by this information?
It was Daily Wire today.
Yeah, Daily Wire.
New York Times.
Or not, Daily Wire, New York Times. Sorry, New York Times and Daily Wire, yep. But I also saw it from a bunch of people. I saw it from Diligent Denizen, and I also saw it from, I think I saw it on Timcast, actually. I think Timcast.
But did they get it from the same source? What's the ultimate source for this story? Are there multiple sources?
Tulsi Gabbard and Kash Patel put out a statement in the article.
Germany's.
Yeah, I believe that's the original source. Yep. But no, I mean, it's just another thing that stacks up on top of this whole idea of if you want people to believe the official narrative, and if you want people to believe that there was no foreign influence or bad actors that way, right? These are not the things that you do to convince people of that. It's very, very suspicious, and it doesn't make any sense at all. And on top of that, I don't know if you guys also saw this, but the Tyler Robinson's alleged roommate, trans roommate that he was, in love with or whatever, has vanished. They have no idea where it went, just kind of fell off the face of the earth. And so that's another piece of the puzzle that's man. Yeah, exactly. So it's just,
the question is, did he vanish or was he vanished? I mean, that's kind of the question.
Yeah, right. That's all. Yeah, exactly. That's always the question. Yeah, exactly. So, I think more than ever, especially with what just happened with Kash, I think we all know that this was definitely foreign influence, and specifically Israel. I mean, I don't see how you can't come to that conclusion at this point. With every single other thing that we know about the case, everything we know about Charlie, everything we know about the relationships, everything we know about, all the different inconsistencies, everything we know about Turning Point. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot more that's going to be coming out too about the pastor. And man, that stuff goes deep. I can't really talk much about that right now because I know that Candice is working up a story with that stuff, that I actually passed a lot of the stuff off to her today. But I'll tell you what.
Ian, I want to, if I may, I want to bring, to the point you just made about the Israeli involvement. And I want to get your feedback on it. And I want to sort of make a point, get your feedback. But, there's these ideas going around that it was the Mormon mafia, or that it was the evangelicals. It wasn't Israel, it was the evangelicals. It wasn't Israel, it was the Mormon mafia. And I'm like, look, okay, perhaps there were evangelicals involved, but evangelicals don't have the juice to, they don't have the power within the federal government to cover something of this magnitude up. Now, there might be some Mormons involved too. I'm from Utah, I'm Mormon. There definitely could be Mormons involved. But Mormons do not have the control over the federal government to control Kash Patel and the FBI and the NSA and to cover this up. They don't have that power. The Jews and the Mossad and Israel do have that power. Okay, they do have that power. Now, It's not to say these other elements aren't involved, but like if you're going to be looking at people who who have motive, like they have motive, you have to look at means and opportunity, and maybe like they talk about the Mormon Mafia. What motive did Mormons have for killing Charlie? Okay,
that's the key. That's the key. My opinion is that's the key. It comes down to motive. I mean, at the end of the day, could lots of other people be involved? Yeah. Are there bad actors in every single church, including the Mormon Church? Absolutely. People Mitt Romney is one of the biggest rhinos, and I absolutely hate that guy. But like, at the end of the day, it comes down to motive. Why in the world would evangelicals want to kill Charlie? Why would Mormons want to kill Charlie? Like, there's zero motive in there. I haven't seen anybody present any kind of like credible evidence that would show any kind of valid motive, but the valid motive 100% exists with Judeo-Christianity.
And not just motive, but also means. Like, who has the means now to carry this off?
Yeah, who's connected to
right?
Right. And that's the thing. When I look at this, it's like the motive is very obvious to me. They're taking this guy out, and I said this today. He was, I might have even said this on the last space, but he is and was the most influential individual when it came to the two most valuable and important generations to Israel and to the Greater Israel agenda and the Hasbara propaganda campaign that's going on in this country. Like, by far, there was nobody even close. He was influencing not only the college generation, but also there's thousands of chapters in high schools. And so the motive there for me is so easy. Like, they are currently putting out the most expansive Hasbara propaganda campaign that they have in decades. They've pivoted. Now they're using influencers and podcasts and things like that. And they're in the middle of it. They invested all this money in the influencers, Google, YouTube, VPNs, AI, all of these things,
TikTok,
right?
TikTok,
Ellison, right? And now you have Charlie, who is turning against them, who's woken up to what's really going on, who's been very outspoken, who's platforming staunch anti-Zionists in Turning Point in front of these kids, and who has the ability not only to influence these people, but he's very effective. So he's not only the most influential, he's also the most effective. And all of this happening at the same time, that to me is motive. There's no motive like that for me for evangelicals or Mormons or whatever else. Like, the motive for me is they need America to continue to be propagandized like the boomers have been for decades. They need us to continue to believe that Judeo-Christianity is real, and that this country is partly founded on it, basically, and that we are the greatest ally and all this other bullshit that they've been pushing for so long, right? And ultimately it's for the Greater Israel cause. And if you really want to talk about what that is, I mean, I know that the narrative is that Greater Israel is all about taking over the Middle East, but I'll tell you what, man, the more things go on, the more this kind of this whole situation unfolds, the more I believe that Greater Israel is freaking America. I think the ultimate Greater Israel project is the United States of America.
Well, it's actually bigger than that, Ian. It's the entire world. Tikkun Olam.
Yes,
right?
globalist agenda.
The conquest of the world in reality.
But step one. Yeah. Step one is the United States.
And I want to use an analogy just to go back to Charlie Kirk. He was literally and figuratively the big man on campus, especially in the youth information, youth politics
100%.
space. Just to use an analogy, this just came to me. Maybe it's not a great analogy, but just to help people understand this. Let's say you wanted to corner the grocery store market on let's say soft drinks, okay? And you wanted to prevent people from drinking soft drinks. And so you're going to control, but you don't control Costco. This is like Charlie Kirk's like Costco, and you're going to try to control like the grocery store market without controlling Costco. That's what Israel's faced with. They're going to try to control the entire youth information space, except for Charlie Kirk and TPUSA. They're not going to control that. That's a big problem. How are you going to control the grocery store space if you don't control Costco? So it's like, how do you control the youth space without controlling Charlie Kirk and TPUSA? Well, you don't, right?
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. And that to me, like I said, that to me is the strongest evidence of, quote unquote motive, right? That's why I believe that that's the strongest evidence of motive. But anyway, Yeah, that's my take. Someone else.
Ian, who were you on with InfoWars today, so people can go watch your segment and check it out?
It was Harrison, dude. It was at 5 East or 5 Central, 4 Mountain, so 6 Eastern.
Okay.
I'll post it up on my page too if you guys want to follow me. But also, yeah, just go check it out on the InfoWars page or Harrison's page. So, yeah.
Right.
And if you guys are doing us this huge solid, guys, we got about 1,500 people. I don't really know what the standards are for how many retweets or how you can even tell how many retweets this sucker got. But if you guys could just do us a huge favor, it really helps out the algorithm. If you guys could just constantly, it only takes a second, swing down there and hit that little purple button, and then retweet the space. It would be greatly appreciated. Hit some likes, drop some comments down there. Yeah, it looks like we got about 128 retweets on the space so far. So if you guys haven't already, please feel free to retweet it out. We're going to go probably till about 11 o'clock tonight. So we're going to have a lot of times to get through a lot of hands. In the last hour, we'll probably do a rapid fire and kind of bring up as many hands and ask as many questions as we can. So if you guys want to come up, all I ask is that you just retweet the space, and then we'll try to get you guys a mic.
Hey, I'm gonna jump off for a minute. I might jump back on, but I gotta get my kids to bed. See you guys later.
Hey,
jump in here, Diligent. What's up, brother?
Hey, I got a question for you, Diligent. What's up? So I'm trying to find out a piece of information. This is kind of out of left field. Sorry, but I got you here. Who's the security guy with the short sleeve white striped shirt that does the TJ hooker over the table after Charlie gets shot? Who is that? Do you know his name or who that is?
Yeah, I think that I didn't confirm his identity, but someone made a post on it or put a reply to it, and I didn't look into it yet. I focus more on the TPUSA staff, but I think that it may have been Ian or Truth Teller, or one of those guys seemed to have had the ID of a lot of the security staff pegged.
Okay, if anybody knows that or knows where that source is, I'm trying to find that out. He can be seen arriving with Charlie and Mikey McCoy at the beginning, out of near the SUV. And then, of course, he's one of those quick responders, does the TJ hooker leap over the table to go help Charlie. And nobody seems to know who he is. I'm still trying to find. I thought we knew, but apparently nobody seems to know. And this is not a gotcha.
I might know. I'll have to check my notes. I'm actually, I'm about an hour and a half out of Orem. I'm in the mountains, so if I drop, that might be why. But I'll have to, whenever I can stop, I can look through it, and then I'll shoot you a DM. I just followed you.
Great, thanks. And if anybody else knows, put it in the purple pill or send me a DM too or something. Just a little side project.
I wanted to speak to the, maybe we can compare notes on IDs and see if we can broaden the horizons there. I wanted to speak to the Mormon thing. So I think two things can be true at the same time. Obviously, there is a huge motive for Israel to want to silence Charlie. That's irrefutable. But I don't think anything happens on U.S. soil without our intelligence agency sanctioning it, right? So
I agree with that. I agree mostly with that. But keep going anyway. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's about the Mormon thing. So, we know that Mormonism and LDS is massive in Utah. BYU is an epicenter of intelligence recruitment because of the multilingual nature of what the Mormons do, as well as their impeccably clean records, so they can get clearances easy. Often BYU is used as a recruitment center for the intelligence apparatus. But
and there's a third factor, Diligent. And I'm just being straight up with everybody. I'm Mormon. I went to BYU. So yes, people serve the missions. They learn foreign languages. They have really impeccable backgrounds. But there's a third and maybe even fourth factor. Mormons tend to be very patriotic in Utah, especially they're very patriotic. They want to serve the country. They want to do right by the country, right for the nation. So they have that sense as well. There's also sort of a very high respect for authority within the Mormon community. It just is. And I don't know if that's good or bad, but I feel like it's relevant here. There's a respect for authority. Maybe some might say maybe a little too healthy respect for authority. Very patriotic character. And then the two factors you said, clean backgrounds, foreign languages. So that I think those four factors, to just expand on your thesis, those four factors do make it a very good recruiting center for these agencies.
And then when you Oh, go ahead, Matt. Ryan.
No, sorry. I just wanted to say, Travis, I know you're a speaker here, brother. Travis has done some really cool stuff with these billboards and websites. Travis, did you just want to say something really quick? I know you only had a minute. I think you wanted to tell us something. I just want to give the mic to Travis for 1 second. Let him say his piece real quick because he's got to run.
Yeah, so it's actually a little bit different than that. So I'm trying to organizing a protest in Arizona for TPUSA headquarters. I have it listed for January, but if we get a lot of interest, we can move it up.
All right, brother. Thank you very much. Tell us more about that.
Just a peaceful protest. I mean, the internet, it's the investigation is very real to us, but to the rest of the world, if it stays on the internet, it's never going to be real. And I forget who was talking about it earlier, but I really think the way to get this into the mainstream and make it real and bring it home is going to be to exercise our right to peaceful assembly.
I agree, brother. That's actually a pretty good idea, honestly. When are you trying to do that? In January?
January, but with you guys' input and help, I mean, we might get enough interest to move it up. Really just January because needed time to drum up interest. But
why not do it during MFest when they're having their huge, when there's everybody there?
Now you're talking.
See, this is why I brought it up. I love it.
When is MFest, Diligent?
What's that? I think it's in December. I don't know. They sent me. I went last year, so they sent me an invite. I have to look, but I can post it or share it. You guys didn't see their speaker queue, did you?
No. Who is it? Zionist?
Oh, they have a really interesting lineup. I would just have anybody just Google AmFest speakers and for 2025, and I'm sure you guys will love it. I'm sure you'll make a post or something. Trust me.
You want me to read it out?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull it up right now, but go ahead, Didi.
Oh, the speakers are hitting. Sorry, 1 second. I'm doing this live, guys. Because now, the minute he said that piqued my interest completely.
While you're doing that,
I have feeling Dinesh D'Souza are going to be here. Dinesh D'Souza. Are we getting Mark Levine, Dinesh D'Souza, Benny Johnson, and the whole Ben Shapiro?
Yeah, the whole crew.
The whole band's getting back together. Oh wait, they never left.
Another thing about the Mormons, almost every single, I would say most of the staff surrounding Charlie Kirk when he died were Mormon or LDS, which there's not really a difference there. But
it's crazy how all these religious organizations are all intertwined, isn't it?
Can you tell us just name drop us? Who are some of the people around Charlie? Because I'm actually agnostic about this. I was not an expert on TPUSA before Charlie's assassination. Who are some of the LDS people in Charlie's orbit? Let us know.
Terrell Farnsworth is Mormon. Let me pull up Sean's name. I would just pause it. I'm at a gas station now. Let me pull up.
So Terrell Farnsworth is the guy who took out the SD cards. He's the one that filmed that odd video selfie saying they shot Charlie, and he's dead. Pray for Charlie or whatever. That's Terrell Farnsworth. Just for anybody who is
That's correct. He's Mormon, and then Sean. Let me pull it up here. It's buried in my screenshots.
Let me give a big shout out to Shadow of the Ezra. Shadow of the Ezra is down here. He just joined us. He's got about 800-something thousand followers. Shadow has been a homie of mine since I very first started putting out child trafficking videos. There's probably very few people, especially the larger accounts, who have always went out of their way to, give me a shout out or share a few of my videos and just try to get more attention and eyeballs on the child trafficking issue than Shadow of the Ezra. So just wanted to say what up, homie. You're welcome to come up here and say a few words while Diligent's looking up the rest of those details if you'd like.
Hey, what's up? Thank you for the nice words and having me. I actually got to send you some pictures from that chief of staff guy. What's his name again? The Charlie Kirk's chief of staff, the one with
Mikey McCoy.
Yeah, I got some pictures of him and Erica Kirk looking at each other in a very suspicious way, like they're crying but they're laughing. You guys can. I didn't upload them. I want to send them to Ryan. Let him make a video maybe. I found them on his Instagram, but they just look so creepy when you look at them. I'm like, yo, they look like they just got away with murder. Like it just looks so bad. I want to send you those.
Thanks, homie. Appreciate it.
Yeah. I'm going to send you those right now, actually. I'm going to mute myself and send them to you.
IG, appreciate you, man. Thank you. Go ahead, Diligent. Jump back in here, man. Maybe Diligent's still digging.
Give me 30 more seconds.
Got you, homie. I got you, man. Yeah, you know, and you guys, we got a great panel of speakers up here. If you're not following Maze, Dee Dee, Sam Parker, Ian Malcolm, Blake Bednards, I mean, just Ian Malcolm alone, if you are ever just in the mood to get a dopamine hit, just swing over to his page and just listen to some of his rants. They're so well spoken, they're so well put together, and he's right over the fucking target, right? If you aren't to the point where you're, you know, I don't know, I won't even go into it. I'll save you guys that. I have no diligence giving job. There he is. He's back. All right, go ahead, brother.
All right, so it is Philip Goldberry. He is the guy who put the mic lapel on. I'm sure you guys all know that because a lot of you guys were subscribing to the mic bomb theory. I don't subscribe to it, but Philip Goldsberry is also LDS or Mormon or LDS, I think. He's the one that put the lapel on him. There is Cooper Brown. Okay, Cooper is also Mormon, and he was also an MMA fighter, interestingly enough. He is the guy who was wearing the hat in a weird way over his ears, and he's the one that assaulted the kid who was being interviewed. Remember that guy interrupted that kid and like started manhandling him to shut him up whenever he was telling his story? Cooper Brown is the guy who did that. He was also the guy holding the mic when for the speaker whenever Charlie got shot. So he was like way up.
Does he work for TPUSA? I thought we were a little confused as to where he came from or who he actually worked for.
He actually works for, let me pull it up here. He works for a partner organization, right? So he works for, let me find it. I forget what it's called.
And I found that odd too that he was holding the mic. So it seems like, in my experience,
he worked for Leadership Institute. And he's the regional field recruiter, and he also, and he's in Utah as well. He was volunteering that day. You know what's interesting though is that he really like hasn't. He only worked like as a helper in like 2 or 3 different events, like that one, and then like I can't find him. I watched so many TPUSA and Charlie Kirk events at universities to see if I could spot some of these same people. Cooper Brown specifically is very interesting. He was not present at any of the previous ones that I watched. But he was present at that one, and then the following one where they were wearing like the white freedom shirts. Everybody's wearing those. He was doing the microphone holding, but that was like really the first time he was ever front and center. And again, he's multilingual. Went on Mormon missions when he was like 18 or 19 or whatever, and then went to BYU. So like a lot of these guys went to BYU. Like I think 2 or 3 different ones went to BYU, which is why.
Interesting, Diligent, because he seemed very assertive and confident to shut down that kid who was giving the testimonial, right?
Don't be lazy.
He was very assertive for somebody who's like a first-time volunteer to TPUSA, but he seemed to feel right at home and very comfortable asserting himself against that kid.
Well, and there's another aspect of it that really kind of drew my ire, which was the way that he was covering his ears with his hat. I mean, he's wearing his hat. It's so strange. I've never seen anybody do this. You know, he's wearing his hat like 2 sizes too big so that it will cover the, it's called the auricle. The outside part of your ear is called the auricle. So that it'll cover the upper portion of the auricle of his ear. And why that was interesting to me is a lot of people don't know this, and it might be because of 2 things. Now that I found out that he was a fighter, he might have boxer's ear, right?
Cauliflower ear, right? The cauliflower look.
I'm missing a chunk of my ear from fighting, right? So I'm missing it though. It's not cauliflowered, but sometimes it'll bend in and curl in, and it looks cauliflowered and kind of deformed. And that's from fighting. Well, later I found out he was an MMA fighter, so that might be what he's hiding. But I couldn't tell. I've seen other photos of him without the hat on, and it didn't look like his ear was deformed. The other reason why you would want to hide your ear in front of a camera is because your ear is almost as unique as a fingerprint. Okay, it's like about 1 in 1 billion. Right, and it's the most visible, unique characteristic of any human on camera. you can positively ID somebody without fail if there's a decent resolution image or video from a side profile based on what their ear looks like. They've known this since the early 2000s. There's been studies about it. I've known about it for a long time. I read about it in college. But my point is that if there was an individual who was an asset or he worked for intelligence, and he didn't want to be positively ID'd across various media platforms, he would definitely not want to expose his ear. And you can see from that video, he doesn't have a hat on. He's walking up in front of that camera, and the first thing he does is put that hat on, and he only covers the side of his head that is facing the camera. He doesn't cover the other side. And he does that every time he's in front of the camera. He does it when he's actually holding the microphone for Charlie Kirk. They took a group photo earlier that day. He's covering his ears then. Anytime he was in front of a lens, he made sure to cover his ears. When he wasn't in front of a lens, like you can see, he's talking to some of the other TPA staff or TPUSA staff and volunteers. He's not wearing his hat. So I just thought that's why he really kind of drew my attention about him. But yeah, it's very interesting. And there's another individual. I can't find it right now. It's really buried in there. I tell you what I'll do is I'm going to be in Orem for at least the next 3 or 4 days. When I have some downtime, I'll compile all of the IDs that I have, and then I'll send them over to you, Sam.
I thought that I saw Charlie, maybe it was during the first questioner, he was talking about he had some Mormons on his staff. I did hear him say that. And I want to say that one time I thought I heard him say that somebody named Andrew was LDS. Is that Andrew Colvett? Was he talking about Andrew Colvett or a different Andrew, perhaps? I mean, I don't know. I thought I heard that. I only saw that clip once. So
he said, he said Sean and Terrell. He said Terrell and Sean.
Okay.
Very suspicious.
Okay. So again, okay, Sean is the other photographer, right? So whenever Charlie Kirk got shot, if you're facing the tent to Charlie Kirk's right, our left, okay, there's a videographer and a photographer. We talked about this last time.
Yeah, they turned around and filmed Blake Neff and Mikey McCoy.
Those guys are also Mormon. Both of those guys are Mormon. So I'm telling you, almost every single staff member around Charlie Kirk that day that was acting sus was Mormon or LDS, dude. You can't make this shit up.
What about Blake Neff? So we know Mikey McCoy, of course, is evangelical, but what about Blake Neff? Is he LDS as well, or?
I haven't looked into him too much yet. I'm going to, and I need to look at the pastor and some of the other guys, but I've been pretty busy.
Gotcha. No, you've been doing great work. Appreciate it. That's good. That's good intel. I didn't know that about Cooper Brown. I didn't know we'd gotten that far along in the intelligence gathering on him.
And Diligent, have you gone into any of the connections? Like, Candice was talking about it today in her show, the military connections. Have you gone deeper into any of the connections there?
Well, what do you mean? I've been driving all day, so what military connections? Can you give me a little bit more information?
Yeah, it just seems like every single person, like Erica Kirk's, family, right? Her father was part of like Lockheed Martin or Raytheon or whatever one it was. It just seems like everybody around Charlie Kirk, some way or shape or form, their parents were in the military, their brothers, sisters, they're all somehow connected to our military intelligence agencies. And that's kind of, I was just curious if you
and like how Charlie Kirk's dad helped build Trump Tower.
Yeah, kind of stuff like that.
Yeah, man, it's a really strange set of circumstances. I think the most interesting links for me are, and I haven't had time to look into this either, are Erica Franzwe's history with Tyler Boyer and some of the other TPUSA staff. Like, it's crazy to me that she would have previous relationships, because she didn't start dating Charlie until 2019, right? And she was just doing dating reality TV shows weeks before she met him, right? So it's just interesting to me that in the years leading up to her meeting Charlie, she knows his staff. Her mom has connections with Farnsworth, who is also part of his staff. You know what I mean? It's almost like, she brought on a lot of these people into TPUSA. Charlie Kirk started the organization in 2012, 13, around there, right? It really kicked off when he got his first billionaire donor or whatever. And it seems like along with her, and I'm not making any accusations here, but it seems like a lot of the people who are around Charlie Kirk and are really seemingly to be pushing narrative right now, right? She came along with her. Like, those were people in her network whenever she got with Charlie. So I would really be interested to see if there's any overlap between her network and the security guys, because outside of the staff, the security guys, my uncle is a 4-tour Iraq vet, and I had a conversation with him today. That's who I was just visiting, and he's like, dude, first off, the round, like, it doesn't make any sense. But he's like, the only people I've ever seen act the way that his security team were acting are people who are conducting a military operation. He's like, that's what the behavior reminded me of. And I have to concur, man. That's what the entire thing seemed like from the security staff to me, was a military operation. So super sus. Charlie deserves real justice. And I am going to go. So I'm going to be in Orem. I'm going to go to the hearing tomorrow. It got pushed back, so Tyler's not going to be there, or Robinson's not going to be there tomorrow, but they're still going to have one in the morning. I'm going to be there to cover that. And then I'm going to go to UVU this weekend and do a video space and walk around while I'm hosting the space, do some drone footage. And then I'm going to go to Tyler Robinson's hometown down in Washington and try to talk to some people that know him in his area.
I was military, but
that's great work, man. That's great on the ground work. Appreciate you doing that, man. Hey,
thanks,
Ryan, I gotta just to interject real quick. I got to drop off for a little while, Ryan. I'll try to be back maybe within an hour or so before the space ends. But I do have to go for now. But hey, great space, everybody. Please retweet the space, follow these people, and keep the material and content churning.
You got it, brother. Thanks, man. So I just did a simple Grok search, and I just said, hey, Grok, what are the closest people around Charlie that have direct military, backgrounds, right? And you start going into this, there's like Tyler Yarborough, has Army family. Then it goes on to Andrew Colvolt, 5th generation Nevada rancher, no military ties there. And then it goes on to, who else is there? There was 3 or 4 of them here that I seen that were, okay, Rob Bishop, retired Lieutenant General, Air Force, but not directly connected to Kirk. That was just it. That's the only few that I found there. So I didn't know if you guys have found any others that you guys want to jump in here and throw some hands up. But we'll take hands from anybody. I know we've been waiting a while to get to Carlos. You've been jumping up, you're waiting in here to get up here. So come on in, brother.
Hey, thank you, brother, for that great space and everything. And I'll throw it out there to Maze or any else that wants to jump into this. But we keep referring to what happened with Charlie as an assassination. And when I frame this up and look at it from different perspectives, numerology, some of the symbolism that's taking place, I keep referring it to more of some type of a public sacrifice that occurred with Charlie. The FBI coming out saying, hey, we tracked down within 33 hours. If you look at the landscape around the university, it really resembles, quite a bit of the Jewish, what's the candle thing that they have menorah. And everything. Thank you. Yeah. So Maze, have you spent some time evaluating in terms of did we witness more an assassination, or did we witness more of a public sacrifice that, because everyone was like, hey, they're sending a message out that, you mess with this is going to happen. It was leading right up to 9/11 on 9/10. Was it more of a public sacrifice that they wanted the world to see?
So because of the menorah, and I got to give credit to Falu and Coyote, they went down that rabbit hole. But so the word sacrifice, I think, would in that sense, because of where literally he was sitting when it happened was right in that middle candle, which was really crazy. But for the most part, to me, it was definitely an assassination either way, but still more of a signaling of sorts. That's this is what could happen, right? So I feel like it was more of a message. But it could have been all three, honestly. If you look at it, it really could have been all three. I don't think it's an accident where he was sitting when that happened either.
Yeah, they publicly executed him in front of all of us for an exact reason. They could have taken Charlie out at any point in time. We know that it wasn't Tyler Robinson, some lone shooter on a roof, that took this guy out. Like it was a very coordinated effort to assassinate Charlie Kirk, and they fucking did it publicly. They executed him for whatever stupid fucking reason to send a message, and then now here we are. So jump over here to Naga. Go ahead, Naga.
Ryan,
Go ahead.
real quick.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to ask you real quick. Have you looked in or thought about trying to interview Tyler Robinson? Is that even possible?
No, they're all under gag orders. You're never going to get to interview him. So no, it won't be possible.
Yeah, the judge is like even moving to the point where shutting down any type of cameras in the courtroom. This thing is just so ugly from beginning to end, and everything that's taking place. And Candice kind of exposed a little bit of that today. I'm not sure if everyone caught that show that she did, but the interview that Don Jr. Did with Megyn Kelly, that she was asking him, do you trust the FBI? Do you believe the FBI? And he really struggled to answer it. And I applauded her when she really kind of called, Don Jr. out. I was like, listen, Charlie was one of your really good friends. Like, he numerous events with you. I'm your friend. You shared us a lot. You know a lot about hunting, about killing, and all these things. Can you really validate and go on a public forum and say that a 30-06 was responsible for killing him, and that Charlie's his neck bone was strong enough to stop the bullet? Can you validate that and not really even have the perspective to speak the truth? And we know Don Jr. at the beginning, he questioned about conspiracy theories, everything from COVID, and yet this administration has remained silent in regards to this. And it's really, I think, to me, like earlier we had the conversation about solutions and what do we do as a forum, as a public, as we move forward to this. But I think today's episode was pretty much kind of drawing the line in the sand that, like, hey, look, Don Jr., Donald Trump, like everything from the AI image with him with the Star David that he released the moment that Charlie was killed, to the National Day of Remembrance, all those things they're not good signs in terms of what happened to Charlie. And I think they were hoping by doing all those things that it would silence those people who were questioning it's not conspiracy, it's conspiracy fact that eventually ends up happening. And they're trying to silence that and trying to remove that from the public space in regards to eliminating any type of conversation of what happened with Charlie. So again, just saying that because I think that the conversation we're having here are just so important, because the more that we amplify this message, the more that people are going to start questioning the narrative that's being rammed down our throats in regards to what happened to Charlie.
Thanks, Carlos. Greatly appreciated, brother. Yeah, I think Candice has been absolutely killing it. Like the way that she's like baiting these people and pulling them out, every step of the way, Candice has been ahead of their game, right? And she's made them look like clowns, and she just baits them and she teases them and she draws them out in the open, and then she fucking like metaphorically executes them, right? Like it's like a harpoon right to the fucking heart with these people. And it's just like, I love when she does it. Like today was with Don Jr. It was like watching a surgeon with a fucking scalpel, right? Like just at work, in her fucking prime, in her fucking element, just owning his fucking ass. And he's over there on stage looking like a blumbering fucking retard. And now he's going to have to answer for it. Now everybody, like we will see these people in public, right? Like they're, John Jr.'s at a lot of fucking events. Like he was at Bitcoin Nashville and we were in the same room with him, right? Like he's going to be at Bitcoin Vegas next year, and he's going to be around all of us, right? Like these people aren't going to be able to hide and stay in the shadows. And this isn't going away, right? Like this is one of those investigations that's not going anywhere. So I'm excited to see where it goes. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you coming up.
Let me just say something real quick.
Go ahead.
So, like, when it comes to a lot of people right now, it's so interesting. I posted about this earlier. It's like the people that are tagging or attacking Candice, they're doing it very coordinated. It's like the same people attacking you and Ian, and to me, what I find really interesting about this is that, like, she's calling out Don Trump Jr. Like, this isn't like, to me, it's just like she's gone all the way to the end and to the extent of like, these aren't things that like a subversive or perhaps somebody that's whatever controlled opposition. It just doesn't seem to me that there would be, that level of calling people out. Like she's putting the son of the president, the sitting president, like on the line, like make a video. You know, I want to hear you say with your hunting expertise that you think this type of weapon was used to kill Charlie Kirk. You know, like, and to me, that's just, it's just, I don't know. I find it just really interesting that people don't see how her every day, how it unfolds. This isn't like planned. It's like she's working from information she's getting between like the last time and this time. I mean, it's just fascinating. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there because I don't like to see people discredited, you know, for no reason. I mean, I can understand that the Zios would probably do that. Maybe even the Christian Zionists and evangelicals, but the people I'm seeing do it, you know, now is quite interesting to me. So, whose hand were you going to go to? Naga, right? Hi, Naga. Welcome.
Hey guys. I just wanted to point out that the Rob McCoy entry on the TPSUA Wikipedia page is already gone. So that's really interesting. And I would be interested to see if they put it back, you know, because it was such a snap decision to suddenly take it down. So we'll see.
Wow, that's pretty crazy. So they must have done that between her episode and now, I guess. Can you see the last time?
What did you say?
He said that the Wikipedia change that they made about Rob McCoy being the founder of the faith branch or whatever, it's gone now.
Yeah, the whole entry about Rob McCoy is gone. That she pointed out, and that was 3 hours ago. That I checked that.
Can you see the last time it was edited? Does it show you the last edit time? It usually does, I think, right?
I don't know. I don't know enough about Wikipedia. I just decided to check.
Where's Ian Carroll when we need him? Gosh damn it.
I'm about to go look to see if I can find that last edited time. That is crazy. But thanks for letting us know.
Let's go to Dr. Joe. Jump up in here, homie. Thanks, Naga.
Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, I wanted to synthesize a few different things that people were talking about today, and even Candice was talking about. And I'm going to start off with a question that I'm going to try to answer, and hopefully you guys will also help us try to answer. Why are they, whoever they are, doing such a bad job of covering up this assassination? Because we know they have the experience to cover up assassinations. They've done it before. And I think the reason is because this is a public spectacle, this assassination. A lot of these people are public figures, and the people that we've had to hear from, that have had to expose themselves, are most likely handlers of people like Charlie Kirk. Okay? And handlers aren't usually trained assassins. Handlers aren't even usually trained liars. Handlers exist to snoop on people to make sure they have the right opinion. They provide a like degree of constant pressure for people they are handling to have the right opinions. Handlers are having to answer questions now about this assassination, and they are creating a massive amount of contradictions. Even the Mikey McCoy thing about walking away with the phone and stuff like that, I could, in a few minutes, given my background in psychology, come up with a better explanation for why he acted the way he did than they did. And it's because these people aren't trained liars, okay? They have been put in these positions to pressure Charlie, to snoop on Charlie, to watch Charlie and the people around him. And so we have the opportunity here to shine light on their activities because they have lost control of the narrative. And so just tying this into some other things that people are talking about, Kash Patel. Kash Patel likely has handlers such as, we suspect, Alexis Wilkins. And we see now that from this other angle of the investigation, this assassination, that Kash is likely silencing the investigation into foreign influence in the Kirk assassination. And he's having a fight with Tulsi's people, which is another indicator of this. And so I just want to really hit home that even if you honestly believe the official narrative, you should want a thorough investigation to silence the doubters. Okay. If you want to silence me, if you want to silence Ryan, if you want to silence everyone here, you should want this thorough investigation. Okay. Cass should not be silencing Tulsi's people unless he suspects that they would actually find something that would tie it back to Israel. And I want to tie this into something that Candice was talking about today. Candice was talking about how people in hers and Charlie's position have multiple handlers from the start. As soon as the oligarchs and their people realize that, oh, this person's going to be big, they start to surround these people with handlers. Candice was mentioning a few. One that stood out to me was Eric Weinstein, who she thinks is a handler of hers. And she says she was kind of inundated with these handlers, most of whom seem to be Jewish, all at once. And she thought it was just a bunch of people of their own goodwill, of their own volition, coming to help her. And now she suspects that they were handlers meant to pressure her, meant to encourage her to have the right opinions and to snoop on her. And we also talked about in this space a little bit earlier how Charlie likely had a lot of military handlers around him. I think Candice talked about this a little bit. I need to study it further as well. So we have a number of different angles here, whether it's the military handlers around Charlie, whether it's the handlers around Candice, whether it's the handlers around potentially Kash Patel. We have a number of instances where these people who are, they fit a role, but their role is not lying to the public. Their role is not coming up with these convoluted stories to obfuscate from the truth here. And because they're put in front of these cameras and they don't have a clear narrative that makes sense to the audience, they're really exposing themselves. And I think I just want to emphasize how appreciative I am of Candice for doing this, because it's a really important admission from Candice, because people often make accusations of others having handlers, but rarely do they admit that they fail to recognize handlers in their own lives. You have to have a little bit of intellectual humility there to admit that. And I really appreciate that from Candice. And so I just want to end with this public spectacle force the handlers to have to answer these questions directly to the public. And this is a great opportunity for us to expose them. Thank you.
Hey, I just wanted to throw an idea out there.
Sorry, yeah, jump in there. Sorry, 49er. Sorry, I went
no,
to
right on. No.
Mike, go ahead.
So,
jump in, brother.
Just right on. Thank you, everyone, for all your work and energy. You know, the truth, and that's all we want. I mean, who can hate on that? But this is the thought I had. We have a list of names. Great work, by the way, of search names from the same IP address. Why, if I'm a 3-letter agency, if I'm the feds, I want to subpoena all the phone records of those names and their IPs, their computers, whatever it is, and I'm going to cross-reference all that communication to see if I can find a number in the similar area that was contacting them, or just some entity or party that's contacting these groups that otherwise shouldn't be. And I just think that might be something that could help if the guys were really doing their job on top. So just throwing that out there.
To contact who? Sorry, I missed the last part. I had some.
Well, you just have all these people who have been, if I'm going to nerf an investigation, if I need to, if I'm searching all these people I can control, if I want controlled opposition and I'm searching out there and we have all these Google searches within the same time frame, right? Well, then those people who've been searched, I want to search their phones to see if they're actually contacted by a phone number or maybe a direct message or something, and see if an entity was messaging them all back and forth. We know something was searching them. And now we know it's not just the people who actually were involved in the investigation, but there are others, and there might have been communication with them, probing. So if you can find a party probing and then made contact and some kind of back and forth, that's what the boys up top should be doing. I mean, you guys gave them gold, these Google searches. Like, that was unbelievable. And the odds of that, we all know are, we all should buy lotto tickets. It's out of control. So that's all I'm saying is there should be some cross-referencing of those parties to see if there is a party or entity that was contacting them, all of them, even just a missed call, because we want them to talk. They better talk now, because it's gonna come out. You better start chirping. I hope they're all listening. You better start your. God's watching.
I'm glad you brought that up because it reminds me of the guy, I think his name was Ryan as well, the one whose images were, did we talk about that yet?
Ryan. Yeah, we kind of did, Maze. I think about it the other day. I don't know if we talked about it. We definitely didn't talk about it today. We can again if you want to touch on it. Go ahead.
Well, just the fact that it was, like I do remember where he was told that, he needed to delete them, and that was crazy. But the fact that they actually went through his phone, and a lot of people, he's saying, actually their footage from their phone was deleted. And, to me, that's crazy. Like, I think that there's this element of, and I felt, and, just intuitively that something was wrong with the fact that we only got, I just feel like there would have been so much more footage that was added, but, maybe the FBI reached out to everybody and told them to delete it, or did they actually tap into the cloud? Did they use, Google to be able to go into their, wherever they save it, whether it's Google Drive or Apple, iCloud. But this just shows that there seems to be this backdoor that is just off, there's no limits to what they can do, I guess, behind the scenes. And so, not to say that I know for certain that these were, but according to him, his was, and, I guess the people that he spoke to, but that's crazy.
Yeah, I was
But
just
what were you
throwing
gonna
out there as just an idea as far as if we know there's this one point of communication possibly, and you have this random group, and if you find another, number or entity that they all start contacting or at least had some form of other communication, those odds are too high. So there's definitely something going on there. That's all I'm saying. And then again, the Mr. Weirdo Zin, they something appeared on his phone, and they made him get quiet really quick because of the kitty pictures he had. So who knows what their abilities are. But I always assume they can do what they want. I just assume the best thing you could do is just stay with the truth, because at the end of the day, every lie needs another lie to keep going. So.
Yeah, man. That's true. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Let's hop in with Joa, and then good night, hon. Go ahead, Joa, and then we'll go to Godfrey.
Yeah, hey guys, how are you? Dilly left, but I wanted to bring something up. I know a lot of us believe it's the Israelis, which, funny enough, today I wrote an article about that. The Israeli does not exist. There is no Israeli nationality, per their own Supreme Court. That's how they get away with apartheid, which is quite funny. I didn't know that until today, until last night anyway. But there is a blind spot here. A lot of evidence points to Israel, but there's also some evidence that points it to being our own government as well, and I don't want us to ignore that, which is if we go after Venezuela, and I don't think most of us believe it's
Not
because of
white
drugs, especially not
supremacists,
fentanyl, when
American
they don't produce or
supremacists.
traffic fentanyl. We're going after Venezuela because of oil and regime change. If we're able to attack Iran, that cripples China and Russia, right? And we all know Charlie Kirk was very against attacking Iran. He could have turned his entire base on Trump on attacking Iran. And that's also a possibility. And I don't want to leave that possibility out. I don't think it's as strong as the other possibility because of what happened afterwards with all the rules with, the schools implementing all these rules about having to learn about history and all this other stuff. But maybe that's also support for attacking Iran. I don't know. But that seems like a very long-term play. So I do think that's more Israeli. But I don't want us to have a blind spot and not look at our own government wanting him out because it could have turned him against us going after Iran and possibly even Venezuela.
Well, as
a way to get at Russia and China. Well, it does help Israel, but I don't think that would be the reason why. I mean, that would be part of the reason why, of course, right? I don't want to discount that. But I think the bigger reason why is how can you defeat Russia and China? You cut off their oil. That's what we did. That's what happened to the Germans, right? In World War II. If you attack Iran and Venezuela, where are they going to get their oil from, right? That's a very big possibility.
Interesting, Joa. But yeah, I mean, it's a good one to throw out there. Godfrey, welcome. Jump in.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to comment on the stuff that's going on with Joe Kent and Tulsi Gabbard. Look, you guys know where I stand with Trump and everything else, but nothing is going to come of this. I do think that Joe Kent and Tulsi Gabbard are probably legitimate in their inquiries, and they do want to find out what happened. I actually think they're good people, but the fact that Susie Wiles was in that meeting told me everything I needed to know. She was there to shut it down. Susie Wiles is trying to keep a lid on this, and that's what's going to happen. Cash, it's just going to go away. Nothing's going to come of it, and you're not going to hear about it again. If anything, if Tulsi has a shred of integrity, she'll resign and make a statement and speak to the press about it, about how rigged this case is. And I hope she does that, the same with Joe Kent, because this is an absolute travesty of justice, and our president is presiding over it. And I'm so sick and tired of people saying, oh, it's Cash, it's Susie Wiles, it's Pam Bondi. No, the buck stops with the president of the United States, and he is in dereliction of duty as our commander-in-chief and head of our law enforcement agencies, okay? So the sad thing is that nothing's going to happen. Susie Wiles was there to tamp it down, to shut it down. That's why she was there. And sadly, I do think Joe Kent and Tulsi Gabbard are legitimate people. I think they're good people, and they were looking at leads, and they think like they might have even been listening to Ryan's spaces. I legitimately think they probably were. And they wanted to get to the truth, but Susie Wiles was there to shut it all down. So, sorry, I know I'm a black pillar. I know that's what I'm known for, but I tell the truth. I don't sugarcoat anything. I tell what's really going on, and that is what is happening. I'm telling you, Susie Wiles was there to shut that shit down. Thank you.
I could even go, I think you could even take that a step further and go, Susie Wiles was probably the one who demanded that Kash Patel freaked out about it and then said, I'll bring it in like a fucking meeting and kind of put the squash on this as like, you know, and take it off your plate, Kash. I wouldn't even be surprised at that shit. Like she's so, they don't call her the fucking ice queen for no reason. Like that bitch doesn't have a heart. She's fucking ruthless. She's a fucking savage. And she will protect her own at all costs. And then her own is she's the most powerful fucking woman in the fucking world right now. And you can't even get a meeting I hear with her without going through that fucking bitch. So yeah, you're 100% right, Godfrey. Ian Malcolm, my man, you want to jump in on that? I know you always got something to say when we talk about Susie Wiles.
Yeah, I guess I can add a couple things, and I'll tell you the direction that I might take this because of the comments there by Godfrey, also those earlier with regards to Candice. I saw earlier, Ryan, your post on Fuentes, and I bring up all these ingredients not to single out any one of these individuals, but rather to make a point about what it is that we're doing in this search for truth, and perhaps the danger that we face if we put all of our, let's say, convictions and all of our support behind, I suppose, a cult of personality rather than a set of ideas and ideals. And I say that because, we log onto these applications, we see all of the praise for and also the attacks towards Fuentes and Candice. We see lots of people that are posting clips of Candice Owens, who sometimes she makes some comments that, I listen to. And look, I've gone to the ends of the earth listening to various conspiracy theories. Some are about literally the end of the earth, as some would suggest. It's perhaps flat, or the ice wall that surrounds it, and all these other things. And I mention that just because even having listened to some of those theories, I hear some of the things that Candice Owens says, and I find myself rolling my eyes. And I see individuals like Fuentes that has had this, rather marvelous, if not astonishing rise, where he's been invited on PBD. Now he's with Tucker. We're seeing lots of people spiking the football saying, let's celebrate because Fuentes is now mainstream. And look, I think that's a good thing because all of these people are moving the Overton window more and more and more in our favor, right? We were seen as kind of a radical fringe ideology literally just a year ago. And I know that because talking about the Jewish question approximately, let's call it pre October 7th. It was a very, very fringe set of speakers and of subjects. And yet here we are today, and now Tucker Carlson is interviewing what you could, I guess, say is the most prominent, quote unquote, anti-Semite in social media, in Fuentes. Now, that being said, there are people that are seeing that and perhaps are saying, well, it's kind of weird that Nick Fuentes, who for a long time has been suppressed and pushed to the shadows, why all of a sudden is this guy who wouldn't have been allowed on this application a mere year or two ago now being given exposure at these very, very large microphones? And this is not making an accusation of him, but I'm rather trying to exemplify that whether it's Fuentes, and let's just say that perhaps there is something to scratch our head about with this new dynamic. Again, not accusing him of such, but let's say that perhaps there could be, right? Or Candice Owens could come out and say something radically crazy about Peter Thiel being a human reptile centipede man tomorrow, right? And I don't know, given some of the things that she says, how radical that might be of a suggestion that it could happen. And I bring all this up just because if we tie ourselves to a North Star that is a persona, then we are in just as much danger as all the people that put all of their backing behind Donald Trump and would suggest that anything and everything that he stands for is MAGA, even when it is the inverse of making America great. And so instead, we need to be focused on ideas, on ideals, not on any one person or one speaker, right? We should veer as far away as we can from the idea of the cult of personality, because we are in a very curious window where there is a lot of fear from a machine that has ruled oppressively, totalitarian, in fact, in its ability to manage any and all national discourse. They've lost that. And unfortunately, a very powerful monster, when backed into a corner, can do some very dangerous things. And I would not put it behind or beyond their interests to do any sorts of very bizarre things to play off of these people, to perhaps bribe, blackmail, do all the other nefarious things that we know this group of people have done, right? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, JFK, RFK, 9/11, all the other things, right? And so we just need to be very careful. And I think as a result, my call here is for not anybody to listen to this as a black pilling message. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge to Godfrey, right? Who said he was the black pillar. I'm not doing that. Rather, let's take, and Ryan, this is actually a fitting comment to maybe end with, because you made a post earlier about the complete lack of account growth you've noticed on X. And I think a lot of people in here can probably relate to that, because there is this weird threshold. It seems to happen when you get to certain cliffs. If you get to let's say 20,000 or 19,000 followers, getting that 20,000 is really tough, going from 49 to 50. I've been looking at 90 to 100 for what feels like forever. And I don't say any of this to pat ourselves on the back for reaching any of these metrics, but rather there is clearly manipulation on this platform. I've done testing around. If you are a premium account owner, you can go into the analytics tab. You can look at your account growth day over day. It'll show you the number of ads and the number of subtractions to your account. I've done the math because I'm a nerd. It doesn't add up. I can tell you with absolute certainty that over a week time frame, there are hundreds of followers that are missing. And I sincerely believe that there's two things happening. Number one, they are going in and they are constantly removing essentially real followers from accounts that share things they don't want people talking about. Ryan, you certainly do this, right? And so what does that mean? Well, let's just imagine, Ryan, you put out a video. Somebody sees it. They've never come across your account. Maybe one of their friends shared it. They look at you and say, wow, I want to follow that guy. Okay, they click follow. They go on to the rest of their day. Maybe they don't use X that much. They're gone for 3, 4, 5 days from the application. They come back. Well, maybe they never see you again. Why? Because perhaps in that little window that lapsed there, X just went in and said, you know what? I don't think they're going to miss Ryan. Boop, unfollow. Now that might sound crazy or conspiratorial, but I can tell you, speaking to Ryan, that Ryan has twice been unfollowed from me on this very platform. On 2 different occasions that took place. And he sent me a note about it. Hey, this is really weird. I saw your account and I'm not following you anymore. And then 72 hours later, the same thing. So if you don't think that this is happening not only between people that regularly message with one another and participate in one another's spaces, what do you think is happening to the random little old grandma that saw a post from me or somebody else and said, well, that seems anti-Semitic, but it's kind of curious. Maybe I should listen into what this person says. So they're removing those people. They're also simultaneously, as they do that, they're replacing them with bots. Now, the danger there is those bots aren't ever going to engage with our content. They're not going to like anything, comment on anything, or retweet anything. What does that mean? That means every additional bot that they give you in replace of a real person is going to essentially lower your ability to ever go, quote unquote, viral. Because the algorithm, the AI that already is manipulating all of this to basically say, we are going to share the things that we know people are going to find interesting. Right now, Elon has since had to walk that one back because obviously things are so screwy. But you've got Nikita Bier, the literal head of product of X, saying that, well, it doesn't matter how many followers you have. That no longer is of importance. What is important is if content is valuable. Defined by who? Well, the machine. And who does that machine work for? Now, I say all of these things as the call to action again, which is not to check on whether or not you're following Ryan or me or any of those things, but rather that the way that we win this, again, to avoid the cult of personality, is to become a decentralized machine. And that requires everybody that's here, everyone that's listening, to just do their part. Because at any point, they can go into Ryan's account or mine or anybody else, they can zap it, it is gone. It's over. All of the content. And one of the things that maybe terrifies me most about that is this idea that, and I see my friend Truth Teller down there, who has some of the best content on this app. And I could think of another individual that I'm very close to who's been nuked a million times. Guess what happens every time his account gets nuked? So is all the content. Imagine if Truth Teller tomorrow logs into this app and he's gone. Every piece of data he's ever uncovered, magically vaporized. It is straight out of Orwell. They're not only removing your ability to further participate in the public discourse, they're removing your entire persona, your entire digital footprint, and everything that you've ever constructively tried to add to this conversation. So again, the call to everybody listening. Right now, there's 2,000 people in here. Do your part. Screenshot anything, clip anything, share it anywhere. Ryan's talked about how he's grown on Instagram or Facebook or any of these other platforms. Take anything and everything, at least for me. Certainly credit others if you're going to do that. You know, if you're going to share some of Ryan's stuff, please credit him on those other platforms. But for somebody like me, take it all. I don't care. Record my entire persona. Share it everywhere you can. Just try to share these ideas in your community, amongst your friends, your family, whatever reach you have. Because again, it can't be about one person or one cult of personality. It has to be about the ideas of spreading that truth. The lies need to be shared every single day from this machine, incessantly, from every hilltop. And all we need to do is like those little torches of freedom that people will pursue. They will follow. Because they are starving for it, because everybody knows that we live in upside down world. They just don't know why. And they keep tuning into the television the same way that they tuned in to Fauci to get answers about the COVID vaccine, who was lying to them the entire time. And we know that because in his internal communications, he even said, oh yeah, masks aren't going to do anything, like a month into the pandemic. And then he went on national television for months on end. Wear 2 masks, wear 3 masks. Maybe crawl on your hands and knees to avoid mouth-to-mouth contact with other individuals or breathing in their air. Right? It was insanity. But people believed it. They listened to the most absurd of lies because of the cult of personality that was essentially the hysteria of that moment. We have to help the people because we are all living in hysteria day after day because they keep pushing endless chaos. Because amidst the chaos, like what was it? Littlefinger said in Game of Thrones, amidst the chaos, there is a ladder. They are climbing it. And as they are climbing out, they want us to be the crabs in the bucket that are stuck, unable to do anything about it. So please, again, avoid the cults of personality. No one person is going to save the day. We all have to be our own little renditions of Paul Revere. And if we do, we can let them know that someone is coming. It's not the British this time, although I guess you could say It's the London central bankers. But they are coming for everyone, and they're coming for everything. And the thing that they fear the most is just us going town to town, knocking on the doors of our friends and our family and saying, did you know, ... That's kind of weird. So please screenshot everything, take everything, get any bit of data, but then just yourself in whatever little way you feel comfortable, just try to make a difference. And if we all do it, to quote Michael Jackson, wherever he may be, the king of pop, and also perhaps one of the original kings of quote unquote anti-Semitism with one of his songs, right? Heal the world, make it a better place for you, for me, the entire human race. We are going to do it. We're going to make the world better. And I'm going to be in a very happy place when we arrive there, hopefully in a very distant or not so distant future with all of you guys. So Ryan, with that, back to you, my friend.
All right. I got to go to bed. It's late. If y'all want to go to the space, it's Ryan Matta space. Let me show you one more time before we cut out of here. Ryan Matta. You can go on X. Scroll down his page, and you'll see that's the space right there that we were just in, the big purple blue looking thing. I really appreciate all y'all joining me. I'll be back on tomorrow morning at right now it's 10:16 p.m. I'll be on tomorrow at 6 a.m. or a little bit sooner depending on how early I get up, but the Ethnic American broadcast with the General and Rush, we do it every day from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. at least to 9 a.m. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Really good hanging out with you guys. Please like and subscribe. I hope y'all have a great night.